Welcome back, everybody, to Empire Wars Duo 2 main event. It is Suomi versus mYinsanity, Max and Viles versus Project Belgium, Sito, and Daniel. Over here, we have the home maps of Suomi with Canberra and Riverbelt banning Kawasan. Hidden Treasures is the ban of mYinsanity. Golden Pit and Atacama are going to be their home maps. Looking at the civilizations, Britons and Vikings are the civs for banning, and for civilization picks we have Magyars and Ethiopians sniped. No new civilizations used, it appears, so Poles and Bohemians apparently not used up just yet. We'll see how many games or how many series we are going to see them used. So far they seemed quite unpopular among the pro players in this tournament. I'm not saying that they are perfect civilizations or they're good civilizations for this one, but it is definitely something that may be considered later on. So with that being said, let's talk a little bit about these two teams. Max had some rough moments recently, whereas Viles was still in his usual very good shape. But Max and Viles, when it comes to playing together, have insane chemistry, very good preparation. So really, I think as a team, Suomi is probably better right now, but mYinsanity definitely has the chance to contest them. By the way, Mertulax, thank you so much for the new sub. I appreciate it. Welcome. So if I had to predict, I would probably say something like 3-1 or 3-2 for Suomi, just because I believe that Suomi has a little bit more team chemistry playing together, but mYinsanity is definitely a team that could upset them in this group stage game. Let's jump straight into the first game over here. So, welcome to Suomi versus mYinsanity here. Suomi will be playing in the cold colors down south. Blue for Viles as Italians, surprising civilization pick a little bit, versus Bulgarians, Max in green. You're gonna have Sito as red Chinese and Project Belgium as Franks in yellow. So Project Belgium and Sito go for the two very conventional civ picks for Arabia. Chinese Franks really the standard civilization selections. Whereas on the other side, Bulgarians are a little bit more aggressive with the cheaper cost on the blacksmith upgrades. And Italians, a bit of a mystery pick here for me. I'm not sure what to make out of that. So here comes a scout from Project Belgium trying to pick off a villager. The spearman will arrive in time, so Project Belgium will disengage. But the thing is that that archer range gets delayed, so that's already an achievement of some sort. Here comes a scout from Sito. Looks like he won't actually fight that villager because the tower is there. Max actually had to make a defensive tower on his berries. He's going to wall the left side of his base, walling the south as well. So we're gonna have ranges on the way for Sito, just now finishing with the second one. Same thing for Viles. Project Belgium, already pretty aggressive, pushing the base of our blue player as the Vos are slowly going up. Max fast forging here. This is what you would expect most likely from Bulgarians. That villager is a little exposed. Her bodies will try to help negate the damage, but that spearman and archer will be pretty annoying to deal with. Scouts, looks like Max might be trying to push the back of Sito's base here, but Sito forcing off the villagers from a wood line, also picking off a Vil. That's a good start for the day. So, scouts from Project Belgium coming in here. It's unlikely that they will break through these walls, but right now, Max doesn't have access to gold, for example. So they could already delay Max's castle age over here potentially, and this will force Max to come back in here. Max now has forging, but remember that these Frankish scouts are slightly stronger by default. So right now, looks like mYinsanity is taking over a little bit over here, because Max is mass migrating with his villagers. Where is he going? He's just running for his life right now, but that's multiple villagers that can get intercepted, and mYinsanity has to be very happy with this fight over here. This is already a huge amount of idle time, and many of those villagers are weak, so if those scouts loop around and then hit those villagers, a couple more could go down. Very, very nice start over here for mYinsanity, as Max is definitely in a tough position right now, getting doubled so early. Scouts now from Project Belgium heading towards Villes, who is fully walled, so they won't be able to do much over there. But look at this group of archers from Sito. I think at this point they just want to distract Max, and this group of archers will hit the back of this wood line. If the timing is right, they could even find an overchop, although it is somewhat unlikely. These trees are pretty much still full. What Sito needs to do in this case is just get close and take his shots first. Looks like he's not actually going to do that just yet. Interesting idea. He's retreating. Sito is retreating here, and he could have actually maybe gotten one or two villagers picked off here. Truth is, we already have 2 villagers lost by Max, so the advantage on the mYinsanity side, right at the beginning over here. Castle Age on the way for Project Belgium and Villes as well. So the archer player clicks up first from Suomi, and the cavalry player from mYinsanity. Looks like Sito is actually pretty late to castle. Not sure what these archers are doing. They might be trying to hit the gold mine. That's an awkward looking wall, by the way, for Max, but if that wall is only constructed 1 villager, I think the archers might be able to hit the gold mine, and there is no scouts here to fight this. This could be brutal. This could be absolutely brutal. Sito's force here is getting outnumbered quite heavily, and now Sito turns back. I don't really get this. I feel like he could have done so much more damage. It looks like he wants to just fight against the archers, but he could have killed potentially 3-4 villagers here if he just moves in here. Maybe he didn't want to lose his archer mass, I really don't know. But there could have been so much damage potential over there. And, I mean, that wall is still incomplete. He could have just marched in here, pick off 4 villagers, and then retreat without any problems. Looks like he wants to take this fight now. That might still be alright for them, because he's getting beaten to Castle Age really heavily by Villes. So that means that if he trades evenly with the archers, that's still an alright fight for them. Although, looks like Project Belgium scouts are nowhere to be found, so Sito is losing his archer mass now, because those scouts have bloodlines +1 defense. Oh boy, oh boy. This is still an acceptable engagement for Sito, but now he has to bridge through a pretty big gap. Looks like he wants to take this fight before the crossbow upgrade hits, but that is just now coming in. Botkin is already in. I think Villes might turn back and fight here, and I think he should. He could take down the army of Sito here without problems. Looks like Villes is retreating. He's also playing this one pretty safely. This buys some time for Sito to get up to Castle Age and get his own upgrades in. They're going for a 3rd range as well. Project Belgium, 2nd stable on, and 2nd TC is already going up as well. So knights are on the way. The last to Castle Age will be Max, but only by a couple of seconds behind compared to Sito. 1 villager goes down over here as Villes strikes at the wood line of Sito, and that's exactly what Sito should have done back when he had the opportunity to do so. Either on the gold mine or the wood line, he could have picked off 1 or 2 vills. And it's not like Max could have done much to stop that other than running with his villagers. Crossbow Botkin coming in. Now, there is not a lot of cavalry here for Max, and that's something that needs to be considered. 8 knights versus 0, which means that this could be a very, very good fight here for mYinsanity. They could surround this group of crossbows. You see, Project Belgium is trying to cut off the escape path. Triple stable knights coming in here for Max, already going for iron casting as well, really building on that Bulgarian bonus. But still, Sito does have the hill here, he does have +1 defense, no ballistics for him, and there is ballistics for Villes that helps a little bit. And now Villes takes the hill, but there is just more meat shield here for mYinsanity, a lot more cavalry, and that helps immensely. So Villes is losing his group of archers here, although now the knight numbers are increasing for Max, so the fight might get evened out. Ballistics on the way for Sito, but that doesn't change the fact that at the end of the day, 23 crossbows for Sito, only 12 for Villes. Villes is also on triple ranges, so it's not a matter of production, it's just a matter of taking good fights when it was needed. And now we're looking into a 9 villagers lead for mYinsanity, and also 40-16 army. So massive army lead for mYinsanity, and the eco is also better. That is looking really good for them right now. Max has to go for a siege workshop here to wall this one out. Crossbows aren't really focusing down those vills, so this will be good for a contingency wall. And the reinforcements may get intercepted. That's a little sloppy over there from Sito. He needs to be careful about sending small groups of archers out. mYinsanity is hitting the cavalry player, which means that the archer player has to come in and react. And oh boy, that's a mass migration now. You see that now Max is not going to have any safe wood income, because he has to abandon all his wood lines. Now, the thing is that Sito and Project Belgium could easily get their army trapped in here, but the damage that they are doing on Max is pretty brutal. 46 villagers for the cavalry player of Suomi, 60 already for mYinsanity's one. So, at this point, Max is being set back really heavily here, and now the army is going to escape as well. A couple of crossbows coming from the other side, they could hit the back of the wood line with a perfect precision strike, because Suomi will be chasing this army down south, and look at this. These crossbows could be the perfect move here by Sito. They won't kill an awful lot of vills, but even 2 or 3 vill picks here at this stage is absolutely beautiful. Tumbling on the way for Villes. Looking at those crossbow numbers, that's pretty even still here. Knight numbers slightly favoring Max now. Tumbling coming in for a red player as well. But look at the eco. 119 versus 105 villagers in here. Big fight coming up over here as we will have the army of mYinsanity pretty much cleaned up in this one. +2/+2 are in for those knights, so they will take a pretty decent engagement, but still, most of the knights go down here, and as I said, at this point, mYinsanity probably just wants to sit on this lead, because Max is going for triple stable knights, but his economy behind this one is really bad. 48 villagers, and I think at this point, Project Belgium needs to add a 3rd stable here as well. He just needs to match the production of Max, and he's gonna be all good. All the crossbows are coming in, and the army of Suomi is very much mispositioned. If those crossbows find that gold mine, that might even be the end of the game. 19 villagers exposed like that. Just 2 crossbows hitting that would be brutal. Villas wants to imp, so if he manages to preserve his crossbow numbers, that could still spiral the game back in their control. But still, I just feel like at this point, mYinsanity's eco lead is pretty massive. The army numbers are evening out though, so mYinsanity has to be careful here. If they let Villas get to Imperial, then that group of crossbows will turn into arbalests, and that's going to cause serious problems. I think that Max has taken a massive beating here, but behind this one, Villas was untouched, and that's something that shouldn't be forgotten. And I feel like at this point, it's probably better for mYinsανity to try and hit Villas, because, as I said, Villas was untouched, so you wanna damage him a little bit as well. Max is already half dead. Looks like the crossbows will be heading towards Max's base once again. 4 TCs now for Project Belgium. If he clicks up to Imperial in the next 20-30 seconds, which may be possible with a bit of a market usage and some TC idling, then it may still work out fine, but they don't want to fall behind a lot in Imperial Age time, because otherwise those arbalests will start moving, and I kind of feel like Suomi is going to try and force a decisive engagement soon here. Maybe even without Imperial Age, because their army numbers are looking better. Uh-oh. The eco is still better for mYinsanity, but they have to be careful because Suomi is pumping out army like there is no tomorrow. And suddenly those knight numbers are looking really good for Max over there. +2 attack is in there as well. Project Belgium only has 1 attack upgrade, so slightly better knights for Max over there. And the bigger thing is that Villas is in Imperial in a moment, and he also has more crossbows. One thing that Project Belgium can do is exactly what he's about to do right now. Just try to raid Villas. Villas has a slow army, slow but powerful. You don't want to chase units with that. So Project Belgium's job now is to just raid Villas and force him to defend, buy enough time for Sito to hit Imperial. It's going to be a long 3 minutes for Sito to get up to Imp here, and you see Suomi is already moving up towards the base of Project Belgium. 1 defensive castle over here, 1 probably needs to be some round over here, just to make sure that your base is safe from the Arbalests. Nice quick walls from Vilas over there for now, as we have a big fight over here. The Knights do have the hill advantage, and this is actually a very good fight here for Suomi. It's an extremely good fight, to be precise, because those crossbows really want to turn into Arbalests in the next 3.5 minutes, so you don't really want to lose your numbers. Project Belgium losing most of the cavalry. Don't even ask me how Project Belgium has 4 villagers chopping wood over here. Why on the earth are they here? I have absolutely no idea. Anyways, the Arbalests are now coming in. The good news for mYinsanity is that Suomi doesn't have siege behind this one, and if they can bridge through this 3 minutes gap until they get Imperial Age and their imp upgrades, they're all fine. Because that is what they need to get to Arbalest, but more importantly, Cavalier. If Project Belgium also gets up to Imperial, he's gonna have Cavalier and +4 defense, and they'll be all good. Fletching coming in for Project Belgium, he needs some extra firepower for those TCs, just to make sure they can take those Knights down. The Knights are the key target. The Arbalests can't really destroy the TC, the Knights can, and you see that Max is gonna commit to that. Sito needs to use this angle to hit the crossbows beneath the TC. So, take down the Knights over here and prevent the TC from going down. Project Belgium might lose 10 vills here. That's actually a good result for Suomi, but you still have to keep in mind that the eco lead for mYinsanity is brutal. 194 vills versus 143. Army, however, is double for Suomi now. So, it's a matter of, can Sito keep his crossbows alive until he can upgrade them? It's still about a minute until Imperial Age and the upgrades also come in. And can Project Belgium just survive until he gets Cavalier? If they get to Imperial both and get their imp upgrades before losing their army, I think they have this game. Sito needs to run here. Just retreat, pick off the Knights, as many of them as you can, and maybe even just let this TC fall. Their eco lead is so big that it's better to just preserve your army and lose a couple of villagers. Nice choke point over there, but the gold miners are now dangerously exposed, and I kind of feel like this is not where Sito wants to be right now. Those gold miners probably should have run for their life a little earlier. At this point, they're actually good as an arrow sponge to sacrifice a couple of vills. Bracer is coming in for Sito, as the Knights from Project Belgium are on the way. This is a premature fight for Belgium. He doesn't want to take this right now, but they need to save those crossbows or arbs. When +4 defense comes in, Project Belgium will start rolling though, because Max is nowhere close to Imperial, and Cavalier will just beat these arbs eventually. Cavalier +4 defense on the way, alongside Conscription. A castle is coming in here for Vilas, but this might as well be stopped if Project Belgium starts going this way. Now it's Arbalest as well. +2 defense is in, but no chemistry just yet. On the other side, those arbs are fully upgraded. So, those are still better for Vilas, but not as much as they used to be. 65 Arbalest against 23 though only. That's the problem Sito is facing. He's heavily outnumbered, he's gonna need the help of Project Belgium here, and Sito has taken a big beating on his economy as well. It's starting to get a little bit heated up here for mYinsanity. But this is where Project Belgium will need to use his cavalry. He's still massing them, and Cavalier is just now in. He's gonna have to clean this army up, which should be doable without any significant problems, and then they probably have to go straight into the base of Vilas and just raid him to death. Because Vilas' army will never be able to stop the Cavalier, especially when most of the arbs are over here. Sito having a rough time getting some arbs out, trying to just garrison them inside the ranges and then unpop them at the same time. Still 62 Arbalest versus 28, but now armor is in as well. And it looks like Vilas wants a forward castle. That's an ambitious forward castle, and Project Belgium will be forced to take that engagement. Is he just gonna let that castle go up? Oh, he's already getting the traps out, I see. That's alright then. He can just trap that down. But in that case, he needs to send the cavalry into Vilas' base, and that's exactly what's happening. Sito is getting pushed really heavily now, and look at this. Max 75 villagers, Sito 82. Imperial Age on the way as well for Max. I feel like Suomi is evening out this game. Clock is ticking really badly for Project Belgium. If he can do damage to Vilas in the next couple of minutes, they still have the advantage, because in late game it's better to have your cavalry player being strong rather than your archer player. But the more I'm looking at this one, the more I'm seeing Suomi slowly evening this one out. And now Project Belgium's base is getting pushed really heavily. Villas doesn't have enough villagers to repair this castle over here. Project Belgium, on the other hand, is about to lose a trap to Arbalests here. Oh boy, that's one trap going down. Still, Cavalier now coming here, trying to bash their way into the base of Villas, and I think now they find a way. It's gonna be really hard to keep all these walls up for Villas, especially when he has to look out for his army over here as well. But Project Belgium, he's not gonna have a lot of gold available because that gold mine is being denied. Now the Arbalests pop out though while Villas isn't looking, and they are cleaning up this army here. Not the best fight ever for Cito, but it's good enough to clean this up, and this is what I was referring to. The Cavaliers, if they get in, Villas can't stop that, and Villas' eco is now falling apart. Down to 79 villagers, and with this forward position potentially falling, although Project Belgium did lose his castle, that might be the end for Suomi. Because at this point, first of all, Project Belgium now has Paladin in, so he actually was able to afford Paladin. May have been better to just flood Cavalier, to be honest, as Max is coming in to raid Project Belgium. But now those Paladin are really wreaking havoc inside the base of Villas. He's down to 72 vills, and now we have Cito coming in with the Arbs to push Max. Max is getting +4 defense and Cavalier just now, but he can't take this fight yet. Arbalests are going to push him. This is basically where he's getting all his gold income from. So if the Arbalests actually get here, those gold mines are going to get denied. Villas at 64 villagers only. He has a very nice forward position on Project Belgium, but he won't be able to replenish his Arbs. So Belgium just needs to mass a couple of Paladins, jump on this army and clean this up. And mYinsanity is getting very close to winning this game. Arbalest now taking the fight against the Knights. The Knights have +4 defense, but no Cavalier just yet. So not the best fight ever here for Max. And with all his Knights going down, now mYinsanity has a decisive villager lead and a decisive army lead as well, I would say. Plus, Bulgarians won't have Paladins. They can get Cavalier with Store-Ups, but Frankish Paladins are way better than them. So the cavalry quality is gonna be better for Project Belgium. And Project Belgium was trying to rebuild that PC as a mill, so that he actually has the farming eco working. Nice move from Villas jumping back into the castle with the Arbs, but the traps will go down. And considering that Villas is at 59 villagers right now, barely any operational economy, this is looking really grim for Suomi, and mYinsanity could pull a bit of an upset win here in the first one. Castle coming in for Project Belgium for additional trebuchets, whereas there is still no trade coming in for either team. That's something that both teams will have to start thinking about right now, but this is gonna be brutal. That's 19 vills for Villas. That's 1/3 of his economy right there, and with that many Paladins and Arbalests coming in, that's gonna be casualties. Quite a few of them, in fact. So, you see, the Arbalests are just marching in, but Paladins are also coming in to chase. Villas is just stuck at 60 vills. Now Max is actually getting back to reasonable villager count, but he's already getting pushed by quite a lot of Arbs, and Max and Villas end up calling the GG. mYinsanity pulling off the win on Arabia, very important win in the first game. What a game this was. Max got pushed so hard in Feudal that he was set back for such a long time that mYinsanity could actually just get this game finished. There were some scary moments for them because they were really late into Imperial, and Cito's crossbow numbers didn't look very good when he reached Imperial. But then Project Belgium just arrived with the Cavalier, and he did what he had to. Just raid this stronger archer player to death, and that's exactly what happened. Villas ended up losing so many villagers here. He lost 84 villagers total. That's just nasty. That's just nasty over here. Most of that went down to the Paladins, so you can clearly tell. If you look at the timeline, this is where Project Belgium started raiding Villas. And Villas started just falling apart. He doesn't really have the mobility to track down all those Paladins, and his teammate wasn't in a position to help him because Max was set back so heavily. mYinsanity grabbed game number 1 over here. An extremely important game number 1, as I said. This is the same group where we have Leary, Hart, and Hera as well. So these two teams, one of them will probably get eliminated because Leary and Hera are the favorites of this group. For mYinsanity to defeat Suomi, it would be a massive win. in the first round of this. So, Italians didn't really work out for Suomi over here, as you see. Bulgarians, they worked to a certain extent. It was more about taking those losses right at the beginning. Chinese and Franks, the ordinary, regular civilizations on Arabia prevailed. And with that, mYinsanity is up 1-0. So where are the home maps of Suomi over here? Because this is where the challenge begins for mYinsanity. Suomi has a very open map as one of their home maps, Riverbelt, and they have a closed map, Canberra. So depending on how they feel like, if they want to play a slower game, then Canberra should be the choice. If they want to play a fast-paced, aggressive game, Riverbelt is the target. And the other thing that you have to consider is that Suomi is very well prepared on their home maps. They are known for their preparation, so I think that these are going to be challenging games coming up for mYinsanity, because Suomi is probably very, very prepared on their own home maps. For mYinsanity, they also have a very open map, Atacama, and they have a traditional golden pit over here, so they went for fairly standard maps as their own home maps. Let's jump straight into game number 2. It looks like we're going to Canberra, a very special map that hasn't been used in major tournaments for an extended amount of time. It was mostly used in smaller tournaments, but Sito has a lot of experience on this one. In fact, Sito might be one of the most experienced player on this. The history of Canberra as a map mostly is focused around the French community, because in the French community there's a big French caster called OG and Empires. He also hosted some French tournaments as well, and in the French tournaments, Canberra is a very, very frequent map. It's in 1v1s, but still, Sito does have quite a lot of experience in the French tournaments, and as such on Canberra as well. So, never seen 2v2 Canberra? That's because no one actually did that before. It's from Aussie tourneys? Okay, I'm gonna trust Robo on that, but I've never actually seen an Aussie tournament. I know that the French is used in their own tournaments, and considering that Canberra is sort of Aussie related, it's not a surprise that it was used in Aussie tourneys, but from what I've seen, I only saw them in French tourneys. But those are, you know, something I just see on streams, so if the Aussie tourneys are not streamed, obviously I haven't seen them because of that. Anyways, we're gonna have Sito as red and Vietnamese. Down south, it's yellow Teutons for Project Belgium. On the right, Saracens for Villas in blue, or they're going for double range archers. And on the north, Max's Aztecs in green. Looks like Suomi is planning a very aggressive opening here. Double range archers for the Saracen player. Market is already up as well, stone has been sold, so Villas is probably trying to get a fast castle age here as well. Whereas on the other side, looks like Max is opening with archers, but I wouldn't be surprised to see sort of a siege and monk push later on as well. Sito massing archers back at home with the Vietnamese, also using the market very heavily. Sito as well sold his stone here. Looks like no one is going for a dock here, but we do have Project Belgium taking the shorefish that you start with. In the middle there is one tile of deep fish, but that contains 30,000 food, so it's very possible to get some fishing ships out, but early on it might not be a great idea, because the opponent might just push it. So maybe drop a tower here, or potentially just harass it with archers, so that's why players aren't really going for that one. And it looks like Project Belgium will be double teamed. Defensive tower coming in here. He needs a house above all in here. So palisade walls are nice and everything, but a house here would be imperative, because that would prevent the archers from running past. Nice reaction from Project Belgium, prevents the archers from running in. For now, it's double ranges as well for Sito, and he's adding a couple of skirms, because now they realize that their opponents are going both archers. So a couple of skirms could help, although there is some eagles mixed in by the Max. Max is not adding any additional eagles. Castle Age on the way for everybody. Last to reach castle will be Project Belgium in this one with Teutons. So, for now, it's skirmishers for Sito getting +1 defense as well. The gate goes down, and there is definitely a chance for Vilas and Max to run into Sito's base here, so some idle time will be here, but with some more skirmishers, I think they should have no trouble holding. Obviously, as I said, the Eagle and the Scouts will be helpful picking off the skirms. Bloodlines coming in for Project Belgium, though, so I think he's gonna start adding Knights in the moment we reach Castle Age. For him, the Scout goes down. Massive loss here for Vilas because now they can't really pick off those skirmishers anymore. And let's see if we will have Eagles being mixed in again by Max. Looks like not. He's just going for the crossbowman upgrade. Elite skirm immediately by Sito alongside crossbowman. So double crossbow play by Suomi, whereas for Project Belgium, he's just going for double stable knights. Double stable knights into forward siege workshop feels like a better choice, as crossbows already in here. Crossbows will be in a moment for Vilas, but elite skirms just finishes for Sito. He should take a decisive engagement over here and clean up this army. And now some more egos are trickling in. Poor deer, he didn't do anything, just got wrecked. Oh, feels bad for that deer. So, now Stonewall, now that is an interesting approach. I have not seen anything like that before. Stonewall is coming in here for Max to prevent Sito from just coming past here, I assume. You can walk these shallows, and I believe that they are scared that the army could go straight to Max's base, and it might be the easiest to wall it off here, but those walls never finish. Siege Workshop coming in here for Max, but there is already Knights from Project Belgium. And remember, we're talking about Teutons. This may be a counterpick to Max and Vilas's Aztecs, because Aztecs really want to play with monks on closed maps, and the Teuton bonus is actually a team bonus, the conversion resistance. Which means that it affects both Sito and Project Belgium. So Project Belgium's knights are very resistant to conversion, which means that the monks don't work as good as they could. So, here come the crossbows. Numbers are much better right now for Vilas, and it looks like the elite skirms do get forced back. So, there will be some scary moments here for Sito. I think he needs some, maybe even some stone walls, honestly. Or just remain with houses, play defensive, because Project Belgium is launching an offensive against Vilas, which will require all the crossbows for Vilas to hold. Mangonels and Knights coming in. The Knights only have +1 defense, and +2 isn't really coming in. So that's a bit of a problem here for Project Belgium. And honestly, this is a problem here. He could easily get sandwiched between two big groups of crossbows, although the Knights run past the gate here, and the Knights might not even care. They might just run into the eco of Vilas and just stomp him, as they are now right inside the base of Vilas. Vilas is coming from the back with the crossbows, as a Mangonel comes from both directions. Oh, this is dicey, because now it's those crossbows that could easily get surrounded. Eagles come in from Max though, and the Eagles will take down the Mangonel. That's nice micro there by Suomi. +2 defense is coming in just now, as another group of Mangonels is arriving to the battlefield. One of them belongs to Max here. Sito coming in to reinforce. It looks like Project Belgium will have to disengage. There is a battering ram as well that may just get picked off by the Eagles. At this point, however, mYinsanity has managed to damage the eco of Vilas here a little bit, and added to the fact that the civilization advantage, I believe, is on the side of mYinsanity, and it's not as bad as it looks like. Now the skirms are able to take down most of the crossbows over here from green. Still a lot of blue crossbows remaining. Eagles doing their best to clean up the skirms, but the skirms are still getting decent value for their price. And with the Eagles going down, skirms still alive, crossbows diving in here as well for Sito. He's got the Vietnamese crossbows with extra HP, plus he has +2 defense. On the other side, not a single defense upgrade for the Suomi players, which means that their crossbows get absolutely annihilated. 22 army versus 13 now. Decisive army lead for mYinsanity. And what's more important is that these Mangonels could also get caught off guard. Vilas caused the GG, and we are in for a massive upset so far. It's not necessarily a matter of 2-0 for mYinsanity. It's a matter of just how much Suomi got outplayed. in this game over here. I think their civilization choices were just better for mYinsanity. In this one, Teutons and Vietnamese seem to work a lot better, especially that conversion resistance probably helped just to make sure that monks is not a thing from Aztecs over here. Saracens and Aztecs is an awkward combination, and it did not work out. Canberra also falling into the hands of mYinsanity, and now it's 2-0. Now it's 2-0. I really love the Teutons pick here. Teutons just pretty much hard counters Aztecs, and Vietnamese is just a better version of Saracens. Like, Saracens get through walls much easier, obviously, but Vietnamese, they have better economy in the long run. They do have better crossbowmen, so if you just look at the stats real quick over here, economy, that was pretty even at this point, but the army and the fights that Sito and Project Belgium were able to take is just brutal. 2.38 KD for Sito, elite skirms helping a lot, and Project Belgium's knights were also very, very useful. As I said, Aztecs didn't really have the option to mix in monks here to fight the knights. Same thing for Villas. He couldn't just go for defensive monks against the push of Project Belgium there because of the conversion resistance over here. And we are up 2 games here for mYinsanity, which means we're going to the final home map of Suomi. Max and Villas going to River Belt. Now, the thing is that considering how aggressive Suomi, or how aggressive mYinsanity was, this is a problem for Suomi. Because mYinsanity could easily get a very aggressive strategy in here and just pick off some early villas once again and snowball the game from that point on. They have Mayans and Khmer available for this map. Mayans with the cheap archers would be very nice, and Khmer, obviously, that you can jump into houses. Other side, I think it might be Cumans now, and maybe Turks. Cumans Turks feels like the combination that Suomi could go for. In this one, let's jump straight into game number 3 here. We're gonna have Project Belgium and Sito on the left side as yellow and red, Mayans and Khmer as expected, and Cumans it is for Max, but it is Koreans for Villas. That was the alternative option. You get the armor upgrade early, so that makes some sense as well. Cumans usually, like, the thing is that here in this case, Cumans is gonna be your archer civilization, and it looks like we're gonna have double archer play once again from Suomi. That is something I'm not really a massive fan of. I think that scouts are too valuable in this map. That's just my opinion. The good thing for mYinsanity here is that Project Belgium can just jump into houses when it comes to raids, and that helps immensely preserving your villagers. And it looks like Project Belgium and Sito might even do a team war here, as this generation seems to be a lot more vulnerable than many other that we have seen before. So we could actually see a slower paced feudal age, which actually hurts Cumans really badly, because Cumans want to get an aggressive feudal age, want to capitalize on their ability to get those archers out really fast. And it looks like a tower will be forced on the berries of Max by Sito. Skirmishers coming in should be able to pick off that archer. So no villagers are killed. Double ranges are in for Max, although the production isn't really consistent. We have archers moving in though. Quick walls are being made, and it looks like Project Belgium gets that wall up. That's brutal, and now he can jump into the house to save that villager. That was once again a clutch move, preventing those archers and spears from coming in. And now skirmishers are coming in from the other direction to help. Very nice defense over there from Project Belgium. So we're gonna have skirms cleaning up these archers over here. The scouts trading off against each other for the time being. So Max, with double ranges here, he's making mostly skirms. Whereas on the other side, I think we are having some archers being mixed in here as well. Project Belgium only with a couple of scouts here, no upgrades on them just yet. So here's the deal. The idea behind picking Cumans on this map is that you want to capitalize on those cheap production buildings and just overrun your opponent in Feudal Age. You will be playing 1 TC on this map, almost guaranteed. But late game, like, especially beyond Castle Age, if this game goes very long, Cumans don't really have a good unit composition here. Like, they can go for heavy cavalry, but their only eco bonus is the second town center, which is something that they're not using over here. So they're actually worse than a generic cavalry civ. You see that Khmer will have a much better economy than Cumans here, now that the Cumans are only playing 1 TC. If they were able to afford a second TC, sure enough, Cumans would be brutal here, but that's not something that we're going to see anytime soon. Eco slightly in the favor of mYinsanity. Scouts increasing in numbers, now they have +1 defense, and I think they might be waiting for bloodlines here. Woes are up for everybody. Project Belgium also going for some fishing eco. I don't like how he actually is using that Fargal to take down that mill, because this shows Suomi that Project Belgium is on water. But that extra fishing eco is also going to help a little bit for Project Belgium over here. And it looks like Max is switching back into scouts. In the long run, that has to be the thing. And he's going to have the mobility advantage. So he can decide which fights to take and which not to. Project Belgium, on the other hand, does have +1 defense, no bloodlines just yet. It's interesting that he's not really willing to take these fights, but he's also not getting the upgrades in. Bit of a better fight here for Suomi, I believe. The scouts will trade off against each other, but the numbers are better for Suomi. In fact, it's twice the numbers for Suomi in this one, and MYI is getting pushed back quite rapidly over here. Project Belgium wants to go to Castle Age. So this is one of those situations where Suomi is going to have a much bigger army, but obviously they'll be later to Castle Age. If they can hold this position, and with the help of this town center, the revos behind this one, I think MYI might be able to. Project Belgium will beat his opponents to Castle Age, get some knights out, and then things will be really good for mYinsanity. What they have to be careful about is Max not running beyond the TC here, because if Max gets 5-6 scouts at Bloodlines and the attack upgrade in, then they're gonna rack the eco of Sito. These wars are really good here for MYI, by the way. Like, they really just prevent the movement of Max and Vilas here. By the way, there's a demo here for Max. There's a chance for a demo. Look at what Project Belgium is doing. He's sending 1 scout to fight that demo. He wants to trigger that demo over there, because trading 1 scout to 1 demo is perfectly fine. Sito may have been using the market a little bit, as you can see on the far left. So we're gonna have the archers trying to push Project Belgium, but really they are unable to do this right now. They can't do any damage to Project Belgium or Sito, and you see Project Belgium is gonna have a massive advantage to Castle Age compared to their opponents. Sito is gonna have comparable Castle Age time to Suomi, but boy oh boy, Project Belgium up to Castle Age, already 2 stables on the way. Some fire galleys even being mixed in here by Max. Look at this. Suomi is also planning to go for a team wall eventually, so we could be in for a very long game on this map. Now the scouts are out, and we're gonna have a siege workshop coming in, potentially for a couple of Khmer Scorpions, because there isn't really much of a cavalry here from Max right now. He's gonna be double stables and probably will go for knights. That's a blast. That's a blast over there for a demo. Killed 3 archers and the skirm. Not sure if it was actually cost efficient, but should be. That was a nice one over there for Max. And now Sito and Project Belgium has to be very careful moving to the middle pond over here. On the outside, Project Belgium does have some fishing eco, as we will have Castle Age coming in here for Vilas and Max as well. Max will switch back to cavalry now, going for bloodlines. No +2 defense queued up just yet, obviously, because he's not in Castle Age. He was on 1 TC the whole time, and he didn't even start making his second town center. That's probably because he didn't want to buy stone to make a new one. Scorpions now pop out. These guys do have 8 range because they are from Khmer, and you see that Vilas knows he needs to wall behind, because otherwise he's gonna be in trouble. Crossbowman on the way for Sito. His crossbow numbers are not as good as the ones from Vilas over here, but Vilas has to defend against Scorpions, and that's gonna be a tough one. And I see a turtle ship queued up. What a pop! What a pop that was! Turtle ship finishes creation, jumps out, takes down 2 scorpions. Talk about that timing. And there's a turtle ship in the middle of the pond. Oh my goodness. What a beauty that is. On the outside, it looks like docks are coming up for Viles as well, as the players will have to start thinking about expanding to the outside. So, 1 turtle ship right now, that's all that we're gonna have apparently. No monks to convert it just yet, I believe, as I think Project Belgium will try to push this left side now. A transport ship. Oh, I love this game! Project Belgium could transport the knights around, but I think he changed his mind, because now the crossbows are pushing in here and he might need to fight this one. Although I think he is safe behind his walls, so he could, in theory, send in his knights. Meanwhile, we do have some knights as well coming in from the max. That is probably the reason why Project Belgium brought his knights back, not because of the crossbows. And now Belgium will go for the transport. He will transport his knights around into the base of Viles over here. Oh my, oh my. What a game this would be. Here is the 5 knights. You drop them off over here, and Viles has a slow-moving army. By the time he can actually chase those down, that's gonna be a lot of dead villagers. Turtle ship coming in here though, and that turtle could breach the walls open here, allowing those archers to move in. What a surprise play here by Project Belgium. I love the idea. And now, surprise! Viles's gold mine here is gonna be exposed, and probably Viles is like, where did these guys come from? By the way, I think Project Belgium could have just used this fire guy to destroy this wall and run in right away. Nice traps over there. Turtle ship is out on the outside too, so Project Belgium has to be careful with his own transport ship. There is a transport as well for our red player, Sito, but that's just gonna be for a TC on the outside. Knights now dispatched by Max to chase this one down. He still has the speed advantage, as the turtles will clean up the knights. It killed a couple of villagers by Project Belgium, but wasn't that influential. Still, star points given for that transport ship. Oh, the turtle is now about to try and breach these walls, and this is where things could get rough for Project Belgium and Sito, but Belgium wants to go into Imperial. Holding that TC for that long is gonna be a bit of a challenge, because there is Mangonels grouping up over here, and it's not like Project Belgium's eco is amazing either. When you go to Imperial as a cavalry civilization, 60 vills is not really enough to just mass Cavalier, but I believe that still that power spike could be sufficient for Project Belgium. What's even bigger is that Sito is gonna imp. Sito needs to use this TC to imp, and that's exactly what he is doing. Sito is the only player with a foothold on this neutral island with gold. Project Belgium also grabs a foothold over there, as now it looks like Suomi will commit. On the other hand, Suomi still can breach these walls, and while their army is considerably larger, mostly because of these crossbow numbers over here, they still can get through these walls. And if Project Belgium and Sito can just turtle this out for like 2 more minutes, then they will be in a commanding position. Viles is about to imp as well, as that TC for Project Belgium is still exposed. Knights coming out to take a fight. Scorpions also taking some shots, but this is just to slow down the advance of the opponents. This is the weak spot of the wall. That's by far the weakest spot, and that Mangonel could take a couple of shots. Now Project Belgium and Sito could be in trouble, because those guys are gonna get into their bases. So the walls have been breached. The quick create comes in here to buy a couple more seconds, but not an awful lot. Sito is holding this one with a huge amount of crossbows though, and you don't want to charge into this hole with so many crossbows controlling that choke point. So looks like Suomi isn't really gonna commit against this one just yet. Project Belgium almost in Imperial. Mangonel comes in as well. I think mYinsanity is gonna hold this position just long enough for their Imperial Age to count. Imp is gonna be coming in for Suomi as well. Suomi has a pretty commanding villager lead, by the way. 20 villagers advantage. Over here, we have 3 TCs for Viles. 3 right now for Max, and he's building a 4th one. Project Belgium is playing on 1 TC, and we have Sito with 2. So they'll have to add some more if they want to add some additional economy. Otherwise, they'll fall behind quite badly. And Sito, now in Imperial, grabs Ballistics, Bracer, Arbalest is gonna come in as well. Project Belgium with +4 defense soon. So, at this point, the main problem for Project Belgium is that he doesn't really have a huge amount of gold income. That's all the gold income that he can get, because this gold mine is denied, and he can get more villagers out here other than transporting, but that turtle ship is gonna make life harder. Turtle moves away from the coast, goes back, picks off the monk. Nice micro there. Those turtle ships are being so annoying for mYinsanity over there, as now Project Belgium is just waiting for him to be able to afford Cavalier, I believe, and then charge out with the Cav. Arbalest is now in, as they are marching through the middle pond. They still have to be very careful because there is demos, there is turtle ships around. Looks like Project Belgium will want to go and try and just dock in the middle. That's an awkward way of doing this. Beautiful play here by Sito and Project Belgium, though they take down the turtles, they take down the mangonel as well. Demo comes in now, not actually firing though, and Vilas is just now reaching Imp. Losing those crossbows before Imp would be a disaster, and he's falling back quite rapidly because of that War Galley upgrade coming in for Project Belgium, crewing up so many fire ships. Max will react with some docks here as well. Behind this one though, look at Max. Max is not out of tricks either. He is going to transport 2 knights to this island, and because there is no TC here, Sito is gonna lose all his gold miners. That might be a game-winning move there for Suomi. Because now mYinsanity can't break into their base, and Suomi is now having a commanding villager lead. Sure enough, those knights might get cleaned up, but that move with the knights is a clutch play. That was just beautifully orchestrated by Max over there. Fight in the middle, still relatively peaceful. The Khmer fast fires are about to pop out. But at this point, Suomi has a pretty significant villager lead and pretty significant population lead. Those town centers are needed on the outside, because that's what you need to add additional villagers to gold, and that's what you need to protect them from a sudden landing like the one we have seen from Max. Careening on the way, so you are gonna have a bigger transport capacity, but even more importantly, some extra pierce armor on those fire ships. And Vilas is actually massing multiple turtle ships. Demos are also coming out for Max here. There's a demo, and I think they're just waiting for those arbs. Don't tell me. Sito is going too close. Okay, Sito has realized, but Max is just waiting for the opportunity to unpop that demo and sink all those arbs. Now the turtles actually perform pretty well against big groups of units, although now they get picked off by the Arbalests. Cavalier on the way for Max over here. Eco is still decisively in the favor of Suomi in this one, and Suomi is now denying additional transport ships from mYinsanity to be sent to the outside, which is a further annoyance for mYinsanity over here. I've never seen this map go really long, and this is where we have to consider that in Empire Wars Duo 1, this map was also played, and this almost always ended in Feudal Age. It was so aggressive that players pretty much just, like one of the teams just died in Feudal. Nice macro there from Suomi to bait the demos, and now the demos are moving up. Turtles as well. Oh boy. Oh boy. Here come the demos. Arbs will have to focus them down. Yeah! Oh my goodness. This game was worth it just for that one final blast. 2 demos wouldn't have been enough. 3 of them were. And that's the instant GG there from mYinsanity. Talk about a decisive fight. So, if you look at this fight over here, from a perspective, that's a group of about 28 Arbalests. Some of them were damaged, that's true. But you see, first demo gets picked off, second also gets picked off, but that's just the recharge time of those Arbs. You need 3 demos here, and that's probably why Max was waiting for it. Oh my goodness, what a beautiful shot. What a beautiful shot. 28 Arbs go down the drain to demos. And they saw them coming, it's just a matter of they can't fire fast enough. And this is why the spawn in the middle is so dangerous. If there's any demos and you look away for a second, you could lose your entire army. That's exactly what happened there. I still feel like Suomi was ahead, even if those ARPs survived, but that was probably the final dagger in here. So, 2-1 scoreline over here right now. Portuguese is still in for the players to play in later rounds. We're going to have Mayans and Khmer gone for mYinsanity. Suomi is not going down that easily. So Khmer and Mayans are gone. Both teams prepared for an aggressive feudal age here, and their civilizations were picked accordingly, but the transition to late game from Suomi was much, much better. So Vilas and Max are going to take this win over here with Koreans and Kumans. mYinsanity now just needs to win one of their own home maps to close this set out. That's probably easier said than done though, because we're into two very traditional maps, and I feel like Suomi may have now been properly warmed up, so to say. I'm just feeling like Suomi was feeling a little rusty in the first two games. Now it is much, much better from them. So it's not going to be easy for mYinsanity to close this one out over here. But they have Golden Pit and Atacama as their own home maps over here. What do we think about civilizations? Indians, Slavs, Berbers, Portuguese, and Turks remaining for Suomi, Burgundians, Sicilians, Huns, Tatars, and Byzantines remaining. Not sure what to think about Sicilians here. Could be a decent civ, accompanied by something like Huns, but I think Huns, Tatars is your civs for Atacama, and then Burgundians, Byzantines maybe for Golden Pit. That just feels like the most reasonable combination over here. So there is some variety available for both teams. I feel like Atacama might suit Cito and Project Belgium better a tiny bit here because they have been the more aggressive team. But they might go for a more conventional play here, going for Golden Pit. So with that, I think we are ready for game number 4. What a game this was. It was just crazy. Tatar's Golden Pit for Hill bonus, that's a possibility. That's definitely a possibility. Although I feel like Tatars and Huns combined together is a very, very dangerous combination of civilizations. So, with that, we can jump into game number 4. Welcome to Atacama over here. We are gonna have mYi on the right side, with Cito playing Huns in red. That was the predictable civ for this map, probably playing Cav Archers in the long run. And we have Project Belgium with Sicilians in yellow. Now talk about a unique combination of civilizations. Sicilian is not something that you often expect, and mYi is actually opening double scouts in this one. Other side, Indians for Max in green, which is a bit of a counter pick to the Cav Archer play, and the Turks for Vilas in blue. I actually like Turks and Indians better here. Turks will have a very, very good transition from scouts to light cavalry with the extra Pierce armor as well. That helps a lot when it comes to fighting against archer civs, and the Indian Campbells will be able to deal with the Cav Archers quite nicely, so Cito might need to stay on crossbows longer. On the other side, obviously, Sicilians taking less bonus damage helps negate the problems caused by the camels, as we have scouts coming in from Project Belgium down south over here. For now, it looks like we are gonna have the hunt being taken by Cito. He actually did mill it as well, so he really wants to grab that one, and he brings an extra villager to fight this. That's a nice move from him. He could actually yoink that scout, or they probably doesn't want to risk his own scout over here, because both scouts could go down. I'm not sure if he's intentionally pushing in the zebra towards the mill, but if he does, that's a nice move, because that decreases walking distance. Here come the scouts from Sito, and early mobility is actually favoring mYinsanity over here. That's a villager going down here from Max. Max is going for scouts himself, scouts as well for Vilas, but scout numbers are slightly better right now for mYinsanity. Not for long though, because there is Vilas arriving with his own spearman being mixed in by both sides in this one. Let's see if those scouts can actually pick off that villager. Spearman now in increasing numbers for Max, who is trying to roll off his right side just to prevent those scouts from running in. Fast bloodlines on the way for our green player, the Max. And with that, he could easily jump Spearman, and I kind of feel like I like Max's position in terms of scouts quality a lot better than Sito's one. The question is, how long will this double scouts play remain for either side? That's another 2 villagers killed. Very, very nicely done there by Project Belgium. And there is another villager going down. Don't tell me this guy's going down as well. Oh, that's so bad for Vilas there. That's -4 villagers. Those scouts from Project Belgium really came in clutch. And remember, Sicilians take less bonus damage, so it's harder for Vilas to defend with Spearman here than the other players. We do have +1 attack in for Sito now on his scouts. He doesn't have bloodlines, but he has better numbers because he didn't have to use his stable to just get bloodlines as an upgrade. Sito going for the tower over here on the wood line. For now, I think Max is just waiting to get her numbers and +1 defense, and he's gonna turn back and fight this one. Sito will disengage upon seeing the spearman. He's waiting for bloodlines and the attack upgrade himself. For now, if you look at the villager losses, that is 4 villagers killed by Project Belgium, 1 by Sito. Not a single villager was killed by Suomi so far. That is definitely an advantage for mYinsanity over there. They will jump the spearman, and the spearman from Max now go down. Max will be forced to make a couple of quick rolls over here. Defensive tower is up on the wood line, so some of the villagers can be saved here, and it looks like Sito doesn't really want to commit against that. We're in for a long feudal age, apparently, with so many scouts being pumped out. Vilas is actually adding some archers. It's not impossible that we're going to see cav archers from Vilas in the long run, because I kind of feel like Indian camos is guaranteed, but Indian camos would actually deal with the Knights of Sicilians relatively well. Looks like it's going to be max double team though. There is quite a lot of villagers going down. There's just no time to think here. Absolutely no time to think, as Firelight Studio is subbing with the Prime. Thank you so much, I appreciate it, welcome. There's just no time to catch a breath. 3 villagers now down by Max as well. Suomi behind by 10 villagers. Not looking great for them over here. mYinsanity seem to be the more aggressive team throughout all games, and it very much seems like that's gonna be the situation for this game as well, and that is why Atacama may actually suit them, as for now, looks like Max will be able to hold off these scouts. He's got quite a lot of spearmen coming in, whereas on the other side, Vilas is now marching up with a lot of spears and archers, but as I said, Sicilians take less bonus damage from the spearmen, so I think with 15 scouts you can fight this. It's only 10 units, 7 spearmen, sure enough, but you take less bonus damage, and the spearmen have no upgrades and your scouts are fully upgraded. Defensive donjon coming in here for Project Belgium on his gold mine. What a moment to live. Honestly, 1 or 2 sergeants is not really the worst idea ever here against that many spearmen and that few archers. It could help quite a bit pushing this one back. Looks like Project Belgium will have to retreat to his TC, and both Project Belgium and Sito are on the way to Castle Age. Neither of the Suomi players are. This is looking really good right now for mYinsanity, but they have to be careful, obviously, not to get overrun by superior numbers of Feudal Age units, and Project Belgium actually wants to go pikemen here. Now that's unconventional. That's unconventional, but considering that Vilas barely made any archers, it might work. Because Huns would struggle quite badly against camels, might as well go for pikemen, and that's exactly what Sito is thinking. Now, pikemen has to really work together with siege, otherwise you're in trouble, because you have no mobility, little damage potential, and speaking of damage potential, there is the retaliation for Max. 2 villagers go down, and that's gonna be a lot more. So, we have 3, 4 villagers down. Basically, the losses of Max were now compensated, and he's gonna be more than happy to trade those scouts to the life of a couple of villagers over there. That is 6 villagers killed by Project Belgium, 5 lost now. So Max has actually done his job killing the villagers of Project Belgium over here. Belgium, with that many scouts, he probably will go light cavalry. And there is another defensive dungeon over here. Other side, Sito up to Castle Age. And he is gonna click pikemen, I believe. Pikemen? Sito doesn't have the food for pikemen, so that's not gonna happen just yet. He has just managed to click for that, whereas Project Belgium, remaining on scouts, goes for light cavalry. There's the forward siege workshop. And I feel like this could catch Max off guard. The question is what Vilas can do, and what Vilas will do, and Vilas is going for a second stable. This could be really bad for Suomi. If Vilas went for cav archers, then he could help his teammate fight this one. This is the moment where Vilas is gonna realize that there is pikemen against them. So maybe Max is the one that has to switch from camels to cav archers, but it's too late. He already added 2 stables, so he can't really afford multiple archer ranges worth of cav archer production. Another villager goes down over here from Project Belgium. He really is forced to chase down those random scouts pushing him, and Max is getting really good value for those scouts. That is extremely good value for those scouts over there, and Project Belgium now needs to get value for himself. By the way, Vilas's wood income is absolutely horrendous. He's the only player without a foothold in the middle, so inefficiency is going to be pretty massive over there. And as I said, this is the time where Max is going to be in trouble. Those camels will get shredded by the pikemen, as now we have the mangonels pushing out. Those mangonels could target the gold mine immediately, and that might be the plan. In fact, Defensive Siege Workshop planned for Max, but that's not even coming up. That's not even coming up, and now Max is gonna get pushed back really heavily. He could get pushed away from his gold. Looks like the camels may actually going for a counterattack, but I don't think that they can do much over here. Camels are not particularly good raiding units, and now Max is off from gold. Max is off from gold over here. Vilas is now doing work with knights, and it looks like Project Belgium is really struggling to keep his lumberjacks alive. So Project Belgium now losing 11 villagers, a couple of pikemen dispatched to help out. In exchange, Project Belgium and Sito are apparently just double teaming Max now. Look at that pop dome from Max. He jumps on the mangonel with the camels. That was beautifully executed, although it looks like the mangonel will survive because there is quite a lot of pikemen. That was a clutch play from Max. That was a clutch play, taking down 2 mangonels over there, and this buys some time for Vilas to raid them back into the game. Sito has 66 villagers. He's the only player with more than 1 town center. He's on 2. But Project Belgium is getting pushed really heavily over here. He only has 2 stables. He's up against 2 as well, but it looks like he had a hard time chasing down those knights, and his eco was pushed really heavily. A TC coming in from Vilas in the middle, but now Max's eco is being breached here by the light cavalry with mangonel support, plus all these light cav pushing from multiple directions. Max is losing all his villagers, and holy potatoes, mYinsanity closes the set out and win 3-1 over here. What a set this has been. What a final game. Really absolutely impressive performance by mYinsanity over here. They had some down moments, but they felt a lot more confident than Suomi were. Really, the key thing I believe was that they were always able to do more damage early game. They were very aggressive against Suomi, and it kind of felt like Suomi wasn't really prepared for such an aggressive opening here. And mYinsanity is going into the winner's game of their group. Quick recap of what we actually saw. Arabia game, Max getting pushed really heavily in feudal, set him back so much, and then mYinsanity just won with eco. Then, second game, Canberra. I think much better civilization selections for mYinsanity sort of counterpicked what Suomi wanted to do, and it showed in the fights that they were able to take. Game number 3, Suomi actually managed to carve out a victory in a pretty long river belt game. I think civilizations for early game were slightly better for mYinsanity, but the transition to late game in game number 3 was much better from Suomi. They managed to close that game out. And lastly, this one, it was probably about, once again, double teaming one player, and it looks like the double scout play just worked really well. And at the end, it looks like the pikeman idea was good as well from Sito, because Max didn't expect pikemen to be played here. I'm fairly certain Max was expecting a cav archer switch. I also expected a cav archer switch. That's why this pikeman into forward siege workshop approach was such a surprise for Max, and that definitely caused serious problems. He was unprepared for that, and he just had no tools to defend his base. And since Vilas himself went for knights instead of cav archers, there was absolutely nothing that stopped Spike and Siege here. And the Siege just supported the cavalry to breach this eco, and they managed to just destroy the wood economy of Max over here in this one. Very nicely done by mYinsanity. They are the second team in the winners game in their own respective group. Extremely important win for them. And the thing is, as I said, that I think, given the fact that they're in the same group as Hera and Leary, grabbing the number 1 spot would be extremely hard for either of these two teams. So these two teams are mostly, or most likely, battling for the second spot. But this is why this is such an important win over here, because in a battle for the second spot, this is going to help quite a bit, and Suomi will go into the elimination game. So if Suomi end up losing that, then they are out of this group.